Hello dear friend, and welcome to On This Day SMR with me, Edward Hertz, where we take a look back through history at events which took place on this day. The rain is gently pittering and pattering away on the window, and the fire is crackling away nicely in the hearth. So put your headphones on, sit back, relax, and let me take you on a journey back through time. Today is Tuesday, the 5th of March 2024, and we have 46 events to cover, going all the way back to the year 363. Starting with the most recent event which happened last year, the 2023 Estonian parliamentary election is held, with two centre-right Liberal parties gaining an absolute majority for the first time. In the same year, a group of 4 prisoners escape from the Nuukchot civil prison before being caught the next day. 3 years ago in 2021, Pope Francis begins a historical visit to Iraq amidst the COVID-19 pandemic. In the same year, 20 people are killed and 30 injured in a suicide car bombing in Mogadishu, Somalia. 6 years ago in 2018, in the Syrian civil war, the Syrian Democratic Forces pause the Deir ez-Zor campaign due to the Turkish-led invasion of Afrin. 12 years ago in 2012, tropical storm Irina kills over 75 as it passes through Madagascar. 21 years ago in 2003, in Haifa, 17 Israeli civilians are killed in the Haifa Bus 37 suicide bombing. "31 years ago in 1993, Palair Macedonian Airlines Flight 301 crashes at Skopje International Airport in Petrovic, North Macedonia, killing 83. 33 years ago in 1991, Aeropostal Alas de Venezuela Flight 108 crashes in Venezuela, killing 45. 42 years ago in 1982, Soviet probe Venera 14 lands on Venus. 43 years ago in 1981, the ZX81, a pioneering British home computer, is launched by Sinclair Research and would go on to sell over 11.5 million units around the world. 45 years ago in 1979, Soviet probes Venera 11, Venera 12 and the German-American solar satellite Helios 2 all are hit by off-the-scale gamma rays, leading to the discovery of soft gamma repeaters. In the same year, the Landsat 3 is launched from Vandenberg Air Force Base in California. 50 years ago in 1974, in the Yom Kippur War, Israeli forces withdraw from the West Bank of the Suez Canal. 54 years ago in 1970, the Treaty on the Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons goes into effect after ratification by 43 nations. 58 years ago in 1966, BOAC Flight 911, a Boeing 707 aircraft, breaks apart in mid-air due to clear air turbulence and crashes into Mount Fuji, Japan, killing all 124 people on board. 59 years ago in 1965, March Intifada, a leftist uprising erupts in Bahrain against British colonial presence. 61 years ago in 1963, American country music stars Patsy Cline, Hawkshaw Hawkins, Cowboy Copas, and their pilot Randy Hughes are killed in a plane crash in Camden, Tennessee. "64 years ago in 1960, Indonesian President Sukarno dismissed the Dewan Perwakilan Rakyat, or DPR, 1955 democratically elected parliament and replaced with DPR-GR, the parliament of his own selected members. "71 years ago in 1953, Joseph Stalin, the longest-serving leader of the Soviet Union, dies at his Volhynovskoye dacha in Moscow after suffering a cerebral hemorrhage 4 days earlier. 78 years ago in 1946, in the Cold War, Winston Churchill coins the phrase Iron Curtain in his speech at Westminster College, Missouri. 80 years ago in 1944, in World War II, the Red Army begins the Uman-Batasani offensive in the western Ukrainian SSR. 81 years ago in 1943, first flight of the Gloucester Meteor, Britain's first combat jet aircraft. 82 years ago in 1942, also in World War II, Japanese forces capture Batavia, capital of the Dutch East Indies, which is left undefended after the withdrawal of the KNIL garrison and Australian Black Force Battalion to Buitenzorg and Bandung. "84 years ago in 1940, 6 high-ranking members of the Soviet Politburo, including Joseph Stalin, sign an order for the execution of 25,700 Polish intelligentsia, including 14,700 Polish prisoners of war, in what will become known as the Katyn Massacre. 85 years ago in 1939, in the Spanish Civil War, the National Defense Council seizes control of the Republican government in a coup d'etat with the intention of negotiating an end to the war. 88 years ago in 1936, the first flight of K-5054, the first prototype Supermarine Spitfire advanced monoplane fighter aircraft in the United Kingdom. 91 years ago in 1933, Adolf Hitler's Nazi Party receives 43.9% at the Reichstag elections, which allows the Nazis to later pass the Enabling Act and establish a dictatorship. 93 years ago in 1931, the British Raj, Gandhi-Irwin Pact is signed. 112 years ago in 1912, in the Italo-Turkish War, Italian forces are the first to use airships for military purposes, employing them for reconnaissance behind Turkish lines. 118 years ago in 1906, in the Moro Rebellion, United States Army troops bring overwhelming force against the native Moros in the First Battle of Bud Dajo, leaving only 6 survivors. 152 years ago in 1872, George Westinghouse patents the air brake. 156 years ago in 1868, Mephistopheles, an opera by Arrigo Boito, receives its premiere performance at La Scala. 164 years ago in 1860, Parma, Tuscany, Modena and Romagna vote in referendums to join the Kingdom of Sardinia. 174 years ago in 1850, the Britannia Bridge across the Menai Strait between the island of Anglesey and the mainland of Wales is opened. 188 years ago in 1836, Samuel Colt patents the first production model revolver, the .34 caliber. 199 years ago in 1825, Roberto Cofresi, one of the last successful Caribbean pirates, is defeated in combat and captured by authorities. 200 years ago in 1824, in the First Anglo-Burmese War, the British officially declare war on Burma. 213 years ago in 1811, in the Peninsular War, a French force under the command of Marshal Victor is routed while trying to prevent an Anglo-Spanish-Portuguese army from lifting the siege of Cadiz in the Battle of Barossa. 254 years ago in 1770, in the Boston Massacre, 5 Americans, including Crispus Attucks, are fatally shot by British troops in an event that would contribute to the outbreak of the American Revolutionary War, also known as the American War of Independence, 5 years later. "258 years ago in 1766, Antonio de Ulloa, the first Spanish governor of Louisiana, arrives in New Orleans. 408 years ago in 1616, Nicolaus Copernicus's book on the revolutions of the heavenly spheres is added to the index of forbidden books, 73 years after it was first published. 528 years ago in 1496, King Henry VII of England issues letters patent to John Cabot and his sons, authorising them to explore unknown lands. 745 years ago in 1279, the Livonian Order is defeated in the Battle of Icecrackle by the Grand Duchy of Lithuania. 978 years ago in the year 1046, Nasir Khusraw begins a 7-year Middle Eastern journey, which he will later describe in his book, Safarnama. 1661 years ago in the year 363, Roman Emperor Julian leaves Antioch with an army of 90,000 to attack the Sasanian Empire in a campaign which would bring about his own death. So that is all we have for today. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope that you found our little trip back through history both relaxing and informative. If you did indeed like the video, please consider giving it a thumbs up, and also consider leaving a comment below. All feedback is very much welcome. If you haven't already done so, please consider subscribing to the channel. It will really help the channel grow and will ensure that you are notified of future videos. Be sure to turn on notifications so that you are notified of future videos as soon as they are posted. Thank you again, and I hope to see you next time.